Good morning, welcome to Carlisle station. Today I'm heading up to Edinburgh to explore the old city, maybe walk to Arthur's Seat, so join me as we visit Scotland's magnificent capital. So welcome to the bustling Waverley station here in Edinburgh. Really attractive station, a hive of activity right in the centre of the city. So the great advantage of Edinburgh Waverley is it's right in the heart of the city. So I'm straight into the old town. I've got about 9 hours in Edinburgh today. So the plan is to see some of the most attractive streets in the city. Maybe one or two streets I haven't visited before as well. So this is probably the most famous street in Edinburgh, the Royal Mile. That links Holyrood Palace to Edinburgh Castle. We've just got St Giles Cathedral there on the left. I love Edinburgh, one of my top cities, not just in the UK but in the whole of Europe. But it is also a very popular city with tourists, so you'll always find it very busy throughout the year. Lots of international visitors. So we've got Edinburgh Castle just in front of me. I'm not planning to visit that today, been there before. Definitely worth a visit if you're visiting Edinburgh, but I'm not going to do it today. So welcome to St Giles Cathedral, founded in 1124. Said to have translated Virgil's Aeneid. So here we are, Edinburgh Castle, probably the most popular visitor attraction here in Edinburgh, possibly in the whole of Scotland as well. Definitely worth a visit if you've got the time to spare, but it's advisable to book in advance. Also, if you book online, you do get the better rates. So even from the entrance of the castle you get good views over the city. Edinburgh Castle is built on a volcanic outcrop. And over there in the distance is Arthur's Seat, another volcanic outcrop. I've never been to Arthur's Seat, so part of the plan for today is to climb to the top, and you get some fantastic views over the city from there. So every year they hold the Edinburgh Military Tattoo in this location, and they're busy constructing this structure in front of me, and I wonder if that's got something to do with the military tattoo. There's also the Edinburgh Festival that's held here every August, a massive festival, theatre, comedy acts, musical acts. I think it's the largest in Europe, and Edinburgh is filled with tourists during August for the festival. Again, I've never actually been to Edinburgh in August. That would be something worth coming, even just to be in the city. There's lots of street performers, so that'd be a lot of fun to do. So I've just asked someone if that structure was for the Edinburgh Tattoo, and it is. The Edinburgh Tattoo apparently is in August, so it's only early May, so obviously it takes them a long time to get ready for the military tattoo. The great thing about Edinburgh is there's just so much to see, and There's so many little alleyways and streets you can explore. So you can probably spend days just exploring the city. And again, as if you watch my video about London, I said one of my favourite activities is just exploring the city on foot, and the same is true of Edinburgh. So much to see and do, but hopefully today I'll go and see some parts of the city I've not visited before. And this is one of those streets I was talking about, West Bow, which you may well recognise because it's been in quite a few films. Probably one of the most famous, well-known streets in Edinburgh because of its very attractive houses and pastel colours. Although I've visited Edinburgh on numerous occasions, I think this is the first time I've ever been to this street. So I don't know how I managed to miss it previously. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, wrote most of that book in Edinburgh in a cafe, and I believe lives in Edinburgh as well. And we've got a little shop here, or museum of context, which is full of Harry Potter paraphernalia, which if you're into Harry Potter apparently is well worth a visit. And I think this might be the cafe that I was referring to. Known around the world as the birthplace of Harry Potter. Now I think I said a moment ago this is Bow Street, and I got that completely wrong. This is actually Victoria Street, and apparently this street is also believed to be the inspiration for Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. So the things you discover. I must admit, I'm really surprised that I've been to Edinburgh lots of times but never been to this street, and yet it's not exactly a hidden secret. It's probably the most popular, most famous street in Edinburgh after the Royal Mile. So we're here in Grassmarket, and between 1660 and 1784 the Grassmarket gallows was the main site of public executions. Amongst the many historic executions to take place here was of Maggie Dixon. She was a salt wife from Musselburgh. She was sentenced to death in 1728 for the concealment of pregnancy and death of the child, and she's known as Half Hangit Maggie due to her miraculous survival following her hanging. So I've had to put my Camino hat on to protect my face from the sun because it's so bright today. Anyway, I've come to Dean Village in Edinburgh. It's about 20-25 minutes walk from the castle, from the old town. But again, it's one of those places I've always wanted to visit. I've seen lots of photos of it, and a beautiful spot. There's a lovely river beside me. You'd think you're sort of out in the countryside, not in the centre of Edinburgh. Anyway, apparently Dean's Village is believed to have inspired the creation of Hogsmeade in Harry Potter. It does feel like I'm becoming a bit of a Harry Potter obsessive visiting Edinburgh. I'm really not, but a lot of people sort of liken Dean's Village to Hogsmeade. But actually to me it has a feel, a look almost like an alpine village, or somewhere like in Switzerland, or possibly Germany, eastern edge of France. Alsace, that sort of area, has that sort of feel in terms of architecture as far as I'm concerned. So it's a beautiful little valley, but back in the 18th century there were a whole series of mills along here. So this was a hive of industrial activity, but now you've got this very pleasant riverside valley walk. So walking down this beautiful street, Melville Street, towards St Mary's Episcopal Cathedral. quite a striking building on the Edinburgh skyline. Again, I've never visited it, so I'm going to see if it's open and can have a little explore of it. But it's very noticeable with its 3 spires on the Edinburgh skyline. But what a lovely street this is. Got the Japanese consulate there. A couple of consulate buildings along this road. One thing that's very noticeable walking around here is that although it's very close to the centre, it's so much quieter. Very few people around here. And yet look at this cathedral. Beautiful. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to come across and what's going to really captivate you, but it wasn't my intention to come to this cathedral. In fact, I hadn't even really thought about it at all, but it's a lovely cathedral, and compared to St Giles, which I also do like, this is so peaceful and so quiet. There's only a few people wandering around the cathedral, so you don't have those crowds that you get at St Giles, which is on the Royal Mile. But this is just such a lovely place. I spent quite a while just wandering around, soaking in the atmosphere. So if you're in Edinburgh, definitely recommend coming to St Mary's Episcopal Cathedral. It's quite a modern cathedral. It was only consecrated in 1879, and the twin towers at the end of the cathedral, at the west end of the cathedral, were only constructed in 1917. So a relatively modern cathedral, and designed by Sir Gilbert Scott, a very famous architect. So here we have Holyrood Palace, the official royal residence here in Edinburgh. Just behind Holyrood Palace we have Arthur's Seats, and that's where we're heading now. So just opposite Holyrood Palace we have the Scottish Parliament buildings. You can go in there and visit them. The Scottish Parliament deals with a number of devolved issues, so issues that the Parliament in Westminster won't deal with. So Westminster, for example, will deal with things to do with defence and things of a national importance, whereas the Scottish Parliament will deal with devolved issues. So just looking online, the issues that the Scottish Government runs, issues which are devolved from Westminster, include the economy, education, health, justice, rural affairs, housing, environment, equal opportunities, consumer advocacy, advice, transport and taxation. So it has quite a lot of power, and the people that sit in this Parliament are called MSPs, members of the Scottish Parliament. So a bit like the Palace of Westminster, you can visit the Scottish Parliament building. You can also view or go to the public gallery and listen to debates. I did that some years ago, very interesting. It's obviously a very modern building, so the debating chamber is quite different to the one in Westminster. But again, if you're visiting Edinburgh, it's quite an interesting thing to do. So clearly not the only person who thought it would be a good idea to climb up Arthur's Seat today. Really busy, loads of people climbing, but I don't blame them. Absolutely gorgeous day. You ever heard that? So that's the summit of Arthur's Seat over there, and the hillside is looking absolutely spectacular in this gorse. Beautiful.
dirty and terrible and like we are sinners, but actually everything has been tidied, everything's been clean.
So I definitely recommend the climb up Arthur's Seat if you can manage the walk. A lot of people up here. It is a little bit of a climb, but anyone with reasonable fitness should be able to manage it. But the views are spectacular, well worth coming up. I'm surprised it's taken me so many years to actually get here. So it's very busy climbing Arthur's Seat, but actually there does seem to be other paths not quite as busy, so taking this path to see if I can make my way down, and it's sort of the other side of Arthur's Seat, the other side opposite Holyrood Palace. Anyway, across the valley is I think it's called Hill End, a little mountain, and that actually has a ski centre, a dry ski slope. So the plan now is to sort of head back into the city, try and make my way down Arthur's Peak. So the route I've just taken down Arthur's Seat was a little bit more challenging than the route up, and had to do a bit of scrambling and using my hands and feet. But unfortunately, as I was coming down Arthur's Seat, I bent over and my trousers have torn, which is rather embarrassing. So I've now got a bit of a tear in my trousers. I'm hoping it's in a place that's not too obvious, so hopefully I will be fine until I get home, but just got to be a bit extra cautious. So yeah, potentially very embarrassing. So that's Arthur's Seat over there, but I'm walking now along the lower level of Arthur's Seat, and according to my map I think this is called Dumby Dykes and Salisbury Crags. So here we get a good view down to Holyrood Palace and the Scottish Parliament below me. In fact, this view over the whole city is fantastic from here. Edinburgh Waverley Station down in the valley, and then over to Edinburgh Castle, St Giles Cathedral and beyond. In fact, if you didn't fancy walking all the way up Arthur's Seat, which is over there, which I do recommend, this is a shorter walk, but the views are just spectacular, particularly looking over the city. So some idiots have had a barbecue here on the ground and damaged the ground, and that will take such a long time to recover. Anyway, there's Holyrood Palace and the Scottish Parliament building, and behind the Scottish Parliament building you have Calton Hill, I think that's what it's called. And on the top of Calton Hill is what looks like a bit of an acropolis. In fact, it was meant to be Edinburgh's version of the Acropolis, but they ran out of money, so they never completed it. But Calton Hill is one of the best viewpoints of the city. You get a fantastic view down Princes Street, so again, another good place to go if you want views of the city. Must admit, that sea looks really inviting today as well, doesn't it? So I'm now on my way to find Greyfriars Kirkyard, churchyard. It's a famous landmark again in Edinburgh, and apparently there are one or two people buried there who inspired some of the characters, or some of the names of the characters from Harry Potter, so see if we can find some of those graves. I'll be totally honest, I have absolutely no idea where these graves are. There's plenty of people walking around, but I've not found the graves yet. There's also a grave here to the Greyfriars Bobby, and this was a dog that stayed by its owner's graveside for 14 years, and when the dog died, it was buried here in this graveyard. It'd be interesting to find that grave. And here's the Greyfriars Bobby grave, and people have left sticks for the dog. Buried in a very prominent location next to the church. So I've not managed to find any of the graves that I was looking for, but I found the most important one, which was the Greyfriars Bobby, and it's a lovely little place to walk through. Look at this gravestone. Don't know who it's to, but it's simple and to the point. This is the famous statue to the Greyfriars Bobby, and it's believed to be good luck to touch his nose, which is why his nose is so shiny. So here we are in Princess Street Gardens, just below the very impressive Edinburgh Castle. Just check the time, got an hour before my train leaves. It's a good job I checked the times, because I actually thought I could get a later train, but it transpires that this is actually the last train home, so I can't miss this one. So these gardens originally used to be a loch, and it was drained to create these gardens. It's a beautiful spot, right in the heart of the city. Anyway, I think it's time I start heading towards the station. Can't be late for my train, but what an amazing day. So I've been here now about 8 hours. I've certainly seen a lot of the city. I've walked miles, and I've been to parts of the city I've not been to before, but there's still so much more to see and do in Edinburgh. You can spend 5 days, a week here easily, just in the city. So many fascinating places, like these National Art Gallery of Scotland, free admission, and just soaking in the atmosphere of the city. It's a ride with a dollar head, and I believe that we're breaking through. It's a ride. Here we have the Scott Monument to Sir Walter Scott. I believe you can actually climb up it. What on earth possessed the architects to build that modern building over there? it looks like it's a poo emoji. Completely out of character with the rest of the city. So my train's on the board. 1852 to Preston, but no platform as yet. So that's my day in Edinburgh, almost at an end. Just going to get on board the train, and it's a direct train service. Just first stop is in fact Carlisle, only 1 hour, 11 minutes back home, so really good service. But it's been a great day. If you had 9 hours in Edinburgh, what would you do? Please do like and comment, and if you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. Until next time, take care and God bless.